Hello everyone, Tim here. Today we're going to be going through my personal top 25 horror movies because tomorrow is the deadline for the top 25 community horror movie list. Tomorrow by end of day, like midnight, that's the deadline for you to get me lists. And I'm kind of hoping if I put my video out now, I might get one last little spur of entries from people, which would be great. But I have already gotten so much great participation, so thank you all so much for everybody that entered. I gotta count it, but it's probably ballpark 40 lists right now. My initial goal is 50. I'm close to the initial goal, but even with 40 people, the list is gonna be great. But anyways, let's dive into my personal top 25, and you'll get an idea of what I love, and we'll see how this all shakes out in the end with the community list. But I have a lot of stuff that is super generic-y that a lot of people have, and then I've got some stuff that is more essential to me, and I've got some other stuff that is kind of borderline horror, but I'm counting it for myself. So yeah, let's dive into this with number 25. Number 25, we're going to kick this off with They Live, Consume. I enjoy the heck out of this movie. If this was another director, I feel like this would be like right up towards the top of their filmography, but John Carpenter is just that freaking good that this is all the way down in 25th. But this is a great movie. Roddy Piper is great in it. I just love the whole concept of glasses that you could see the aliens. Yeah, it's a badass movie. So, number 25. Number 24 is Cabin in the Woods. Big fan of this one. Saw it in theaters. Saw it pretty much many times since. I have a blast with this every single time. This feels kind of low on my list, but I made my list and I'm running with it. Yeah, Cabin in the Woods is great though. I love how it just throws in all the horror tropes but kind of pokes at it. Yeah, this is a great movie. I initially watched it because of Joss Whedon's name being attached to it, and I care less about that now, but Drew Goddard did a great job with this movie. Alright, for my 23, this one kind of goes borderline, but I'm counting it, and it is Wait Until Dark. We generally count a lot of home invasion movies in horror. A lot of them get counted in horror, and this kind of fits into that home invasion, and it's terrifying when, so this Audrey Hepburn plays a blind woman who inadvertently has a doll that is filled with drugs, and Alan Arkin's character is trying to get it, and it's a pretty terrifying movie. I mean, they actually had to put a warning back in the 60s because the screen goes completely black, pitch black for I don't even know how many minutes, and it's kind of tense and terrifying. They had to put a warning in there so people didn't freak out. Yeah, this is a great movie. Had to get some Audrey Hepburn on the list, and this is the best way to do it. So Wait Until Dark. My number 22 seems really freaking low, but Psycho is a great movie. Great movie. I don't love it to the upper echelon of some of the other Hitchcock, so I guess that's why I always think about it a little bit lower. But this is the granddaddy of slashers. This is a pivotal movie. Amazing twist. It's great. It's just not tippy top for horror. I honestly thought about putting in Rear Window instead, but yeah, Psycho for 22. Now for number 21, my horror crush, essentially, Barbara Crampton. She is fantastic. Jeffrey Combs. If I said those two, you already know where I'm going. And it is Reanimator. Love this weird as hell, dark comedy horror movie. This is a great time. Super bloody, gory, just a blast. So yeah, again, this one kind of feels low. It feels like a lot of stuff feels low to me, but there's only 25 spots. Everyone's telling me how hard the list is to put together, and it was hard, but it was fun. So yeah, Reanimator. Alright, number 20 will seem super low to a lot of you, but I only saw it the once so far. Loved it. But I only watched it the once. It was either last Halloween or Halloween before that. I wasn't big into the idea of religious horror. It just really wasn't me. Personal preference thing, but I'm opening up my horizons on that and watching more religious horror type stuff. So I finally got around to The Exorcist, like I said, pretty recently. This is a phenomenal movie. It is great. I think maybe after a couple more rewatches, it'll shoot up the list more, but right now, it's in 20. Number 19, Thrill Me. Yeah, Night of the Creeps, Tom Atkins, prom time, aliens, zombie-type creatures. Just so much fun. If you're looking for fun horror, this is it. Night of the Creeps is a blast. Number 18, Scream is thought of as kind of like the headliner of, not headliner, but the one that brought meta horror to us more than anything else. And Scream solidified that with box office numbers, but we don't get Scream without Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which is included in this awful, awful, shitty box set. But New Nightmare is an incredible movie. Came out a couple of years beforehand. It's very meta. It takes Freddy into a whole different, deeper, darker territory than he has been. Really, Wes always wanted Freddy to be this terrifying, like, horror villain, kind of like he is in New Nightmare. He didn't intend him to get into the whole, like, jokey type way he is in most of the movies. I like that a lot, but in New Nightmare, he is fucking terrifying. Love New Nightmare so much. The whole idea of, like, the lead is Heather Langenkamp playing Heather Langenkamp. It is such a fun movie. You get Wes actually in it in a small role. It's cool. New Nightmare is great. I love New Nightmare. Big fan of it. It's easily my second favorite of the franchise. Yeah. So, New Nightmare. Number 17. I feel like I'm probably one of the biggest fans of this movie. I hype this one up whenever I can. There's like two movies on this list that I hype whenever I can. But Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. Though on Bob's stream last night, I loved Multiple Women Pulled Demon Knight. I was like, hell yeah, Demon Knight getting some love. This movie is so good. I was already a Tales from the Crypt fan, but just the whole vibe of this movie. You got that rock metal soundtrack. William Sadler against Billy Zane, who's an awesome villain. So good. Yeah, I freaking love this movie so much. It's endlessly rewatchable to me. And then at number 16 is the other one I was talking about that I feel I'm one of the few people that hypes this up. But Deep Rising. Treat Williams, Famke Janssen. This is so underrated. It starts off as like a heist movie. It's people that are trying to get onto a cruise ship to like take a hostage and rob it and stuff. And then it becomes this monster movie out of nowhere. And not only is it a really badass like action horror movie, it is incredibly violent. Like, so bloody, gory. People do not give credit how, like, there's a scene where they're going down and the hallway is just filled with like blood and guts and skeletons and stuff like that. This is an intensely bloody and gory movie. It is cool though. Really, really cool. Number 15, I put up a post on Instagram recently where I showed old Blob, new Blob. They're both great. For this list, I'm going with 1958 Blob, Steve McQueen, classic original. I got to actually physically go to the real theater that this was filmed at. That was cool. Yeah, I love this movie. There's something about, even though the 88 one is great, that whole campy, cheesy monster movie fits the 50s so much better. So, it's just something about this movie. It works. Alright, number 14. Don't shank me for this being so low. It is my third place Carpenter movie. And that is Halloween. Love Halloween. I mean, there's a Michael Myers right down there. I mean, I love Halloween. This is a phenomenal movie. 14th on, top 25 all time. It's high. It's this great movie. But, I'll just say this isn't even my favorite Halloween movie. So that's partially why it's all the way down in 14th. Number 13, we did some Kevin Bacon, some monsters, some desert, and some amazing 4K action here with Tremors. This is another one that's like endlessly rewatchable. Tremors is so much fun. As you'll notice, throughout most of my list, there are ones that are like deep and terrifying, but I feel like for the most part, I love fun horror more than anything. Like, Exorcist is great. Wait Until Dark is great. Psycho is great. Like, I have them on the list for a reason. But in the end, I love fun horror, and this fits it so well, so well. I mean, you'll see more stuff on this list that fits into the whole fun horror. God, this movie's a blast. Number 12, I said all that stuff about fun horror, and this one is not. But one of the biggest fans of this movie. I freaking love it so much. Innkeepers, I will hype this one up all the time. I freaking love it. It's two people in a hotel that is haunted. At least there's been no proof that it's haunted. They kind of think, oh, maybe it's not. The one guy definitely thinks it's not. And it's just trying to get proof before the hotel closes, and they get proof. Yeah, love this movie. It's a yearly watch. This is literally the only movie we watched every October, no matter what. So, love Innkeepers. You know how I said Halloween wasn't even my favorite Halloween? That's because Season of the Witches! 6 more days to Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 6 more days to Halloween, Silver Shamrock. That's all I need to say. This is a great movie. Love it. And you get my singing in there. How about that? Number 10, I just rewatched, or gave the 4K a watch. Seen this many times. Return of the Living Dead. Love this one so much. The whole punk rock vibe to it. This is just, again, fun. I keep throwing out fun, and that is because that's what this is. That's what Season of the Witch is. That's a lot of the... I love fun horror. Yeah. Return of the Living Dead. Such a blast. And I love the darkness of the ending. Oh, the ending is so good. Number 9, we got... Yep, we got Jaws. The one and only Jaws. Best shark movie out there. What is there to say about Jaws besides it's number 9 because it's freaking great. Love this movie so much. Who doesn't love Jaws? Number 8, behind me I have a Ghostface figure and a Ghostface mask because I love Scream. Scream is a great movie. That's why it's number 8. This movie, talked about this with Bob, but this is more pivotal, I think, to horror than Halloween. Halloween, there was slashers before it, and I feel like horror was still on a pretty good trajectory. It's just Halloween was massively influential. But Scream basically saved horror. Like, flat out basically saved horror. Horror was in a terrible spot before Scream. Absolutely horrible spot. This movie essentially saved the entire genre. It definitely saved slashers, but the whole genre was not in good shape, really, around the time that Scream came out. So, yeah, Scream is an amazing movie. Number 7, Who Are People? Who Are Aliens? Love the whole dynamic going on in The Thing. This is a timeless Carpenter classic. Second favorite from him. And to some people, like 7, this is super freaking low for The Thing. And I could understand it. This is an amazing movie. It's just, I have other ones I love just a little bit more. But The Thing is classic. Number 6, I'm pulling out the OG, or pulling out this shitty box set again to mention the original OG Nightmare on Elm Street as my number 6. Favorite horror icon for villains. My favorite horror icon would be Ash, but we're getting to that. But for, like, horror villains, I love Freddy. Love Freddy. I enjoy the heck out of this whole franchise. I already mentioned New Nightmare on here, but the original is the second most frightening we see him. If not most frightening, because we didn't know what the hell Nightmare on Elm Street was, even. And you get this, not this character that slowly walks towards you to kill you, like a character that you cannot escape. You can't escape Freddy. You have to sleep. Even the people that try to fight sleeping They just nod off. I mean, you also get Nancy as, I think, one of the best final girls. Nightmare on Elm Street is Wes Craven's best. The best of Wes Craven is right there with the best of John Carpenter. It's just, I feel the worst of Wes Craven is worse than the worst of Carpenter. But yeah, the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Number 5, we have Night of the Hunter. This one kind of skirts things a little bit. It's terrifying, though, if you actually watch it. I guess it fits more into thriller horror, because, my God, Robert Mitchum's character is absolutely just, like, terrifying. This is a dark movie for the 50s. A very, very, very dark movie. There is some imagery in this that you don't even see in newer horror movies. Like, it's dark. So, highly recommend this. The Criterion sale's coming up. Definitely check this one out. Number 4, behind me, up there, I have a Christine poster, because I'm a fan of Christine, like, quite a bit, and that's why you get Christine, of course, number 4. Who doesn't love a car that just goes around running people over because it's freaking evil? That's all there is to say about it. Christine is great. This is, I think, the best Carpenter soundtrack. Yeah, love Christine. If you've made it this far, you are already very well aware what is 3, 2, and 1. You already know. But, anyways, 3 and 2 are in this wonderful box set. 3 is for Evil Dead 2. 2 is for Evil Dead, the original. I love this whole franchise. Love this whole franchise, and that's why it's, 1, 2, and 3. Evil Dead 2. So, I watched Army of Darkness first. Then I went backwards. I watched Evil Dead 1, then 2. And especially, I read both of Bruce's books, and he goes very in-depth on the making of all of them. And when you know just what went into Evil Dead 1, there's this little bit more appreciation for what it pulled off versus Evil Dead 2 that actually had more of a studio budget to work with. So while a lot of people might think Evil Dead 2, it's the more refined, better version, I love Evil Dead 1 is something special in what they pulled off. So that's why I put Evil Dead 1 above 2, but I love them both. I mean, obviously, they're freaking 2 and 3. And now we've made it to number 1, which, duh, I mean, you already know, it's Army of Darkness. I could have pulled the Steelbook, but I do also love this slip. So, I mean, this is staying in the collection also. I mean, what is there to say? This movie essentially started my love of horror. This movie has a special place in my heart. I don't see my top 3 ever changing, but especially not Army of Darkness. Yeah, this movie means a lot to me. So, yeah, Army of Darkness, number 1. That's it. That is the whole list, my top 25. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't sent me a list, please do. Please do. Comment right down below with your top 25. If you haven't sent me a list yet, comment down below. So, that's all we got. See you next time.